Welcome to the 2020 Snap UK podcast mock draft, featuring all the players that you're going to see get drafted in a couple of weeks' time, and the ones that Paul picks. We're doing one round only. Everybody's been allotted teams, so I'll run through them very briefly. In fact, I'll let you guys run through them. If you could just give me your teams and any multiple picks that you've got, so everyone knows who they're choosing for. Gary, starting with you, if you can just let me know your teams, please.
Yeah, so I have the Lions. I have Miami picking 3 times. I have the Panthers, the Jets, the Bucks, and the Saints.
Wonderful. John?
I have Jacksonville Giants, Jacksonville twice, Cleveland Browns, Vikings twice, Ravens, and I also have, without a pick, Rams and Colts. If I could trade in if I wanted to.
That's all right. I'll do the without a picks once you've been through your ones that are picking. Jim?
I have got the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Raiders twice, Broncos, Titans, Patriots, and Chiefs.
Wonderful. And Paul?
So I have the Redskins, the Chargers, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Packers, and twice with the Niners.
Oh, just the way you like it.
I forgot to say I also have the Cowboys.
Right, well, that is always important.
Nobody cares.
There
No
were
one cares about the
6
Cowboys.
teams without a first-round pick this year, with the Bills, Steelers, Rams, Colts, Bears, and Texans. I did allot those to people in case they wish to put their other draft capital together and move up into the first round. To the best of my knowledge, so far, no one has done that because they can't be asked. So that's fine.
Well, no, I mean, I was the Texan, so I couldn't do anything smart at the moment.
No, you've got to channel your inner Bill O'Brien and basically ruin your franchise is what you've got to do. That's what you're attempting to do. What you want to do is try get some O-linemen in the draft and then give them to other people, probably.
I was offered a timeshare in Kosovo, so I gave away my picks for that.
I do honestly think any of you 4 guys could do a better job than Bill O'Brien, if I'm perfectly honest. That's not saying a lot. Right. We're on the clock. We're on the clock as ever. The first pick is Jim, and the pick is in because we are organised and in no way running behind. So with the first pick in the NFL 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select quarterback LSU Joe Burrow. Absolutely no controversy there whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is what they're actually going to do, right?
I do. I think let's not be stupid about this. He's the best quarterback on the board. He's got some of the best quarterback ratings, also draft ratings from a multitude of media commentators that I've seen for a long time. He's had one of the best quarterbacking seasons in college football in all times. He's won the college championship. He's being billed as, well, his comparison is Tom Brady, and there's not many higher than that. So let's not be stupid, Bengals. Let's just get your franchise quarterback, get him in the building, and start improving that franchise.
Martavius Bryant was higher than him.
Thank you.
It's always worrying when someone is told that they should be the next anybody, but being the next Tom Brady, you're basically setting someone up to fail, especially when they're at the Bengals. That's
the only.
At least he's being set up as the new Tom Brady and not setting himself up as a new Tom Brady, like Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser went really well. He just got a lot of.
Although, in Cincinnati, he could just very easily be the next Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he could be. It's a fair point, but you can't blame that on him. You have to blame that on the organisation. But for once, the organisation aren't going to do something stupid. They're going to draft the best player the best quarterback in this class.
So says you. Paul, by the way, you are on the clock with the second pick, and I do see that you've sent it in already. So with the third pick, Gary, you are on the clock. Oh, no, sorry. Let's see if this works. I think it'll be changing hands because there was some toing and froing with the third pick. But with the second pick, the Redskins choose what I think is the best player in the draft, Chase Young.
And Joe, that was my theory behind it. You just take the best player available.
And that's exactly what the Redskins need to do. I assume that cements what we were discussing for the third pick.
Yep.
So, with the third pick, the Patriots are sending their 2021st, 2023rd, and 2021 first to the Lions, and moving up to the third overall pick. And I assume I can safely say that pick is in. The Patriots will take quarterback from Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa. This is the least Bill Belichick move ever, and I love it.
It is. It very much is. This is never going to happen. This is not a Bill Belichick move. It's not even a Patriots move. It's my move, because I think, me and Nick Saban, we've had some words, and Nick said, yeah, he's got some injuries, but he's a heck of a player. His accuracy is second to none. It's accuracy of 70% in 24 games, 76 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's led one of the best college teams in all of football. Yes, he's got injury concerns, but he had that video that came out at the end of last week. He looks good. He's not going to be playing for another few weeks, so he's still got time to recuperate. And the Patriots need a quarterback. And that connection between Bill and Nick Saban, old mates, old old coaching colleagues, I think that's strong. And I think Nick's had a word with Bill, and he's given him the thumbs up. So I like this move for the Pats, but it's never going to happen.
Of course, in the real world, we're going to be drafting a quarterback in the 4th round and hoping it's better than Jarrett Stidham. Exactly. Let's not gloss over the second pick, Paul taking Chase Young. That fills a massive need for the Redskins, which basically taking anybody in the top 40 picks would do. But he is the best player here, the best athlete, the best everything, right? The guy's just crushing it.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, the Redskins can do no wrong, basically.
I think for the Redskins, it's very much what the 49ers have done previously. They've had several picks on that defensive line, and then they're complementing that with another defensive line pick. And Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded coach. He's got Allen now. He's got Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan's still a decent player for them. That defensive front of Redskins is going to be nasty next year.
Well, if you think they obviously took Haskins last year, and they've obviously taken their defense has been good actually for a couple of years. Really, they just can't score any points. So, I would say they're in a 3-year rebuild, similar to the Niners were, a couple of years ago. And I would say, they'll make sure that defense is really super solid, and then they'll start adding pieces on offense, either through free agency, trade, or next year's draft.
We did see a lot of
remember 2 years ago, I traded up with the Patriots to take Lamar Jackson.
You did. It was one of the best moves you've made in these mock drafts, and we all laughed at you.
Yeah. And it was very non-Bill, so I look forward to this never happening.
Shall I tell you what I think the Patriots are actually going to do? I think we're going for Jake Fromm, because he's the cerebral quarterback, but he can't throw down.
He's the system one, isn't he?
Yeah. I think it'll be Jake Fromm if it's a quarterback. And I also think there's a possibility he's taken at the end of the first round just so we get him, in which case there could be 5 quarterbacks in the first round. All right, with the 4th pick of the draft, John, you are on the clock with the New York Giants, who did a wonderful job last year in the real draft and took your quarterback of the future, who actually turned out to be halfway decent after we all mocked him.
Yep, so my pick is
with your inner Gettleman in place, you've taken offensive lineman Mekhi Becton. I cannot pronounce it. Mekhi Becton. There you go. Straight out of Louisville. Best O-lineman in the draft, and a great idea for both Saquon and Daniel Jones.
He fills in at right tackle. He's a monster of a human being. 6'7".
All right, you're not going to date him.
300 odd pounds.
360 odd pounds.
Him and the guy we took 2 years ago, I forgot his name. Hernandez. That's part of a scary O-line. So we have lots of holes everywhere else, but O-line seems to be the big one.
Hey, do you know Mekhi Becton, 364 pounds, and he's only got 17% body fat?
Yeah, me too.
Just going to leave that out there. That's incredible.
See, I'm the other way around.
I'd love to have you on my O-line, though, Paul. You'd make the other team laugh. That's guaranteed. I can see a lot of frantic research going on for the 5th pick, which is Gary. I don't know why.
Oh, he knows. He's on Pornhub.
I'm looking to see the reflections in his eyes, but it's really not. He's not doing the 1,000-yard stare. So, with the 5th pick in the draft, the Dolphins have their first round choice. Gary, are you ready with this pick? Ah, yes, it's come in. Oh, really? Were you not? Did you know this other trade was happening or not?
The Tua trade?
Yeah.
Well, I made the trade with Jim.
That's what I thought. So you must have known what was happening. So why the frantic last-minute research?
Oh, I was looking at something else. I was just looking at the chat. So, I knew this was happening. I guess Jim was trading up. I wasn't sure if he was going to take Herbert or Tua, actually, with the Patriots. I thought he could have taken either. I think Herbert is a great, solid quarterback, actually, very Bill Belichick. Good accuracy, doesn't turn the ball over too much. Exactly what you would not expect to go to Miami.
I love how you've announced the pick yourself, by the way, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry, Griff. Yeah.
I'm only here to compare. So, yeah, Justin Herbert is the 5th pick, and I think it's a safe, solid pick. He's a good player. I think he's being brushed over slightly in the run-up to this draft just because Joe Burrow's had such a good year.
Well, I think there's, Miami have got 14 picks in this draft, so they have, the ability to move up and take pretty much whoever they want after the first 2 picks. They can move up to 3rd if they want and definitely take Tua. I just don't think there's enough value in that move to do so. So I think, between the two, I don't think there's a big enough gap to spend that draft capital moving up. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Paul, you are on the clock with the 6th pick, which is the Los Angeles Chargers and their awful new logo. Which just reminds everyone of how much better the Rams are than the Chargers. No,
the Rams have got the new logo.
Which way round is it? One of them is just dreadful.
Rams have got the new logo that looks like the Chargers.
Yeah.
Christ Almighty, I'm so confused. But this is the problem they're going to have. The logo is literally an inverted version of the other team's logo.
Yeah,
it's just turned on its side. It's crazy. They probably paid someone millions to come up with that, and the guy looked out his window and went, "That one's quite good." I'll take that one. It's like me inventing a chocolate bar and calling it a cat kit. That's what I'm going for. Okay. So, Paul, progress with the... progress. So, with the 6th pick in the Snap UK 2020 draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select linebacker Isaiah Simmons. And again, another really safe pick in a position of need for the Chargers. I like this one, Paul.
Well, to be honest with you, I was where I was thinking was based on if Tua, Herbert, or Burrow were available, I would have gone for them. But anyone else, you get the best player available. And for me, I was expecting Isaiah Simmons to have gone by now.
Were you ever tempted to try and trade up for the 3rd pick? Because I was kind of expecting a call that I never got.
Now, this is all based on what we would do if we were the GM. I love T-Mobile. I think Tyrod or that guy who was at the Bills and then the Browns and then the Chargers, he'd be good enough for me to take a season on him.
Yeah, I think so as well. I don't think this is a bad shout, especially if there's a chance of getting Trevor Lawrence or one of the other good quarterbacks next year. There's no rush. Chargers have got so many positional problems that they need to sort out.
But there's players like Jalen Hurts later down the draft board who I think will still be available. And I'd probably go for someone like him in the next round.
And then be forced to play Tyrod all year. But that's fine. Gary, you're on the clock with the 7th pick.
No, there's a trade there.
With the Panthers. See, now this is why I was going for it beforehand. I haven't got that one written down at all.
Okay.
This is the problem with using pen and paper and technology.
So, do you want me to take you through this, Griff?
Yeah, go on.
So the Panthers are giving their 7th overall pick to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are trading up. They're giving the Panthers defensive tackle Chris Jones
on a new agreed extension.
Yeah, the 32nd overall pick, and what did we say? A 5th rounder.
5th rounder, yeah.
Yeah. So this is now the Chiefs.
I'm going to defend myself slightly here and say you never confirmed this. You said I might have to throw something in to sweeten the deal.
No, I sent it on to you and said it's all done.
I don't have that. Okay, anyway, so, Jim.
Yeah. Hang on.
The joys of doing this without being in the same room. I've much preferred the folding the bits of paper last year and handing it across the table.
Yeah,
that was good. I forgot about that.
I've still got all the bits of paper because I'm
That's genius.
So you've got a small piece of paper with Will Greer written on it from me.
Yes, it also
I've
also got all the ones John wrote with false school names on them, such as Pitty High.
Right, picks with you now, Griff.
Yes, it is. Okay, that's fine. So, with the Chiefs are taking cornerback Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. He will never fall this far in the draft, but this is a brilliant pick, and it sorts out a big need for the Chiefs.
This draft has fallen absolutely perfectly for the Chiefs. That's the cornerback is their biggest need, and they've just picked up the best cornerback in the draft, and probably one of the best cornerbacks to come out of the college system for some time as well. 6'1", 205 pounds, ideal size, speed. He's going to be a beast. The Chiefs lose Chris Jones in the center of that defensive line, but they pick up what I think is going to be a really special player.
Yeah, I agree. Gary, you're on the clock now because we did have another trade for the number 8 pick, right? Before I get it wrong. So the Cardinals have traded out of the 8th spot and have moved down to 18, swapping with the Finns. They've also taken next year's 2nd round pick, is it?
No, this year's.
This year's 2nd round pick, sorry, for Miami, which was number 39, I think. Yep. Gary, you're on the clock again. Having taken Justin Herbert, what are you going to do next for the Dolphins?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because I got told off last time.
Very true. And rightly so. Don't break the system. But yeah. Are you prepared? Do you have a pick? Because it hasn't come in yet.
I have a pick. Give me a second.
Right.
I have to react to it.
Which of the many positional problems do you think you can solve for Miami with another pick inside the top 10?
It's something to help the first one.
So we're going O-line, and it is O-lineman Andrew Thomas, which I think is going to be a really good pickup for somebody in this year's draft. He's a really good player. Yeah.
So I think if you're going to put a new quarterback in, obviously I don't think whichever quarterback went to Miami isn't going to play the first half of the season, but you've got to give them the ability to play, haven't you? And he looks like an amazing offensive lineman. I think potentially he is the best lineman in the draft. I'm quite happy to take him. So
I think he's right up there with Becton.
I think that's the better move for the Dolphins if they can take either talented quarterback, and then move up to take from 18th back into the top 10 to take one of the top 2 offensive linemen. I think that's the best move.
Yeah. I like that move. He can play left tackle or right tackle as well. So, it doesn't matter where you put him. 4-year starter at Georgia. So he's got experience already. I think, he's probably not rated as highly as kind of Tristan Wirfs or Jedrick Wills, but he's just got experience. And I think that's what you really need in tackle. So great pick.
Anybody with
between
experience
and Wills, that was the 2 I was just
anybody with experience at this point gets an advantage because of what's happening with the potentially short pre-season and training camps and things. So John, you are on the clock with the 9th pick, which is the Jags.
Wow.
And the pick is in. So with the 9th pick in the 2020 draft, Jaguars select Derek Brown.
Yeah.
Tell us why, John.
They just need everything, really, don't they? But so I've gone for defensive line, which they've lost a lot of players on lately.
Is this a signal that Yannick Ngakoue is on his way out of the Jags?
Well, he doesn't want to be there. So, and they could do with some cap space. I would be bringing in Derek Brown to replace Ngakoue, Calais Campbell. They need defensive line help.
Oh, excellent. I did wonder whether you were going to try and get a quarterback to replace your favourite Gardner Minshew.
I was tempted.
I had like Jacob Eason, Jordan Love. They're all going to go straight to the Jag.
If someone would have offered me a trade for my, because the number 9 pick, if someone would have offered me for it, I'd have taken it because I don't think they need it. But I would have thrown Minshew into that trade.
John, are you also on the clock with the 10th pick, aren't you?
I am.
Which is the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns are an interesting one this year because they've got more needs than you would think for a team that seemed to fill it all in free agency last year. They just weren't very good. So, the pick is in, and I think this is a great move. The Browns select O-lineman Tristan Wirfs, which is going to make or break Baker. He's either going to prove he's very good or he's still going to be rubbish, in which case he's a failed project.
Well, this now fixes the Browns' biggest issue in last year. They picked up Jack Conklin in free agency, and now they pick up another tackle to play the other side of him. They've now got the bookends of that offensive line to protect Mayfield. And like I say, if Mayfield doesn't perform now, then there really is no excuse.
Yeah. I wanted originally Andrew Thomas. I thought I could get him, but as that trade scuppered that, he's the next best.
Yeah, there's not a lot between the first round O-linemen this year. It's not a massive drop-off from the first to the 4th or 5th pick of the O-lines this year. Okay. So, after the top 10 picks, let's take a quick snapshot of how the board stands so far and see what everybody's done. Thank you very much, John, for editing that in so smoothly, as you will have done. With the 11th pick, Gary is picking for the Jets. The pick is in, and he's gone for protecting Sam Darnold. And, you know, he couldn't get the Ghostbusters, so he's drafted O-lineman Wills instead. Great pick. Paul, you're on the clock with the 12th pick. Jim, you're on the clock with the 12th pick for the Raiders.
Way to make me crap myself there.
This is exactly what the Jets needed to do. I don't think they will pass up on one of the wide receivers just because their receiver core is so poor and Darnold has to throw to someone. However, sensible move dictates keep him up.
I think it was when I looked at his strengths and it said big, wide and extremely athletic. And as much as I know that's how John likes his women, I also think that'd be great to protect Sam Darnold.
That's not a reflection on any of the women that John's ever dated, I'm sure.
All 2 of them.
No, actually not.
Brilliant.
So, you like this one? This is where you feel you needed to go with this, is it, Jim? The 12th pick?
Yeah.
And I do love the name. The Raiders select wide receiver Henry Ruggs III out of Alabama. And the Raiders just took a massive step forward with that move, I think.
Yeah, look, they've had a couple of seasons now of playing the Chiefs 2 times a year and watching Tyreek Hill absolutely dominate them. And it kind of harks back to Al Davis's old one of his old mantras about taking the fastest player possible. And Henry Ruggs is probably the fastest player possible in this draft. He can score from, I mean, you can throw the ball short to him and he'll just run past people. He is so quick.
I didn't see what his yards after catch are like.
Yeah, his route running's not amazing, but I just think, you know, you got a player that fast. You saw what, you know, Tyreek Hill did to the 49ers at the end of the Super Bowl to effectively win the Super Bowl for the Chiefs. That's what the Raiders are going after in this pick.
Paul, you are on the clock with the first of the 2 49ers picks in the first round. Oh, and the pick is already in. You're on the ball this evening. Joining the Raiders with the wide receiver club.
Him to be available.
Well, it's Jerry Jeudy, another wide receiver, and a good move again for the Niners because did you not lose Emmanuel Sanders over the off season? So this is what they need to do. Keep giving weapons to your quarterback. That's just the only way forward. Again, like you just said about the Super Bowl, you basically got out offensed because you just weren't exposed enough. Don't forget as well, Jerick McKinnon will be back this year for the Niners, and I think it could be a great addition.
Yeah,
I mean, until pre-season's over and he tears his ACL.
Yeah, exactly.
He's over 6 feet as well, which will help. Which will please Gary.
With the 14th pick overall, the Buccaneers are on the clock. And that is you, Gary.
While he's doing that, just going back to that Jerry Jeudy pick, I love that pick for the 49ers as a 49ers fan. If he ends up in San Francisco, I'll be over the moon.
Do you not think there's a fairly good chance he will?
Yeah, I do think there's a very good chance he will. I mean, I think the 49ers, one way or another, get a wide receiver between the top three, Ruggs, Jeudy, and CeeDee Lamb. If between Jeudy and Lamb, I'd be happy. If it was Ruggs, I wouldn't be unhappy.
I went with Jeudy because Shanahan likes somebody who can be versatile. And for me, Jeudy seemed the most versatile.
Great route runner as well, and he'll understand the routes that Shanahan plots out for him. He'll get open, and an open receiver will be manna for heaven for Garoppolo.
I'm fairly sure you just went for it because you thought it was Judge Judy.
Yeah, that as well.
So with the 14th overall pick, the Buccaneers select defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw. I like this. I wondered if it would be O-line to keep Brady, in one piece, but keep building defense.
There was nothing left. There. So I think this was a case of, I think ideally if the Bucs can get one of those top four, if the Dolphins don't trade up, they will go for that. You don't invest in Brady to see him on his arse all the time, do you? But I think their defense is quite an aging defense. You started to see that last year. They give up a lot of points. Jameis scored a lot of points last year, and they still lost a lot of games. So I think in this situation, I've got to take the best player on the board. Javon Kinlaw could easily go in the top 10 based on some other moves. So I think he's a very, very good player. 6'5", 324 pounds. He's going to be a great player. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I would agree. With the 15th overall pick, the Broncos are on and off the clock because Jim's already submitted his choice. And the one run on wide receivers, try saying that fast, sound like John, has carried on. And it's CeeDee Lamb to the Broncos. Another really solid pick. Any of these three wide receivers can go in any order, I think.
Yeah,
they are far better than the rest of the crop, and it's a big crop this year.
Yeah. What excites me about CeeDee Lamb is the comparison that he's been given by many media commentators, and that he's like DeAndre Hopkins. And I think Hopkins is the best receiver in the NFL. Personally, he's basically quarterback proof. Lamb he's incredibly strong, incredibly acrobatic. He's got to win contested catches, and then once he gets the ball, he makes massive gains after the catch. So pair him alongside Cortland Sutton for the Broncos. And Noah Fant at tight end, and the running backs they've got. That's a heck of an offense now.
Well, yeah, don't forget Royce Freeman, always.
Yeah.
I think they might.
I think they might as well. Jim, am I correct in thinking you're also on the clock for the 16th pick?
I am indeed.
Because we've had a trade. The Falcons and the Titans, or Tetons, sorry, have reached an agreement on a trade. Would you like to share the details with everybody?
Not really, I can't remember.
Swap of first-round picks, and then I believe there was a pick from next year as well included. Haven't got it directly in front of me at the moment because I didn't write that one down. But
I think it was a third next year, wasn't it?
Was it a third next year? I am looking for it, but all these different bits of technology, too much.
Jim basically, he was like, he's just win now for every single team. So he was like, he's going to trade away every team's next 2 or 3 years picks. So you need to give him the same teams next year, Griff. See what he does then.
Well, he's got no picks at all.
It was interesting for me. I got the Falcons, and I was the one who took this.
Falcons get the third round next year as well.
So,
from the Titans. Third this year and second for the Titans. I knew it was second. Sorry, fire away.
The work that they've done this year on the free agency led me thinking, there's needs. Don't get me wrong, but there's no pressing needs. So just build up your capital.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree.
And the selection is in. Jim has taken CJ Henderson out of Florida for the Tetons.
Yeah, I actually think if CJ Henderson's there, the Falcons probably won't trade up because it is one of their bigger needs. But it's also a big need for the Titans as well. They've lost Logan Ryan in preseason. Malcolm Butler hasn't been a brilliant cornerback for them, and they need desperate strength there. They've got a decent defensive line. They can supplement that with some picks later on in the draft. But CJ Henderson's got length, as they say. He's got great size, great speed, and he's got really, really good recovery speed as well. So that's what you're looking for a cornerback. He's going to match up against some of those AFC South. Hang on, no, there's no AFC South wide receivers since Cochran.
They do have to play other teams as well. John, you are on the clock with the 17th pick to the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. So
just move on, Griff.
Are you suggesting no one cares about the Cowboys?
Nobody in the UK, because they're America's team. They're just shooting coronavirus with fucking pistols.
They are the Liverpool of the NFL, aren't they?
That's very similar to how Donald Trump seems to want to approach things.
Well, of course, he does quite well down there.
It's in.
It is indeed. I'm just checking the position because you didn't give it to me.
Linebacker.
It is linebacker. So the Cowboys pick linebacker Kenneth Murray. And again, I think it's a solid pick. I don't think anybody's really gone wrong yet. But this is Sean Lee retiring? Is Sean Lee retired now?
No, he's re-signed, but he hasn't. When was the last time he had a full season? So
never. I think the answer.
Yeah, I'm looking to replace Sean Lee.
Well, I think Murray alongside Van Der Esch would give them two of the best linebackers in the whole of the league. I think he's going to be as impactful as Van Der Esch was when he first came in. So I think it's a really solid pick. Who went first in the linebackers? Was it Simmons? It was Simmons, wasn't it? To the
Isaiah Simmons, but then Kenneth Murray second.
Yeah, I don't think there's a massive drop-off between the two. They're clearly the best two linebackers in the draft. Right, with the 18th overall pick,
that goes to
the Cardinals due to the trade earlier. So, Cardinals, are you ready with your selection?
Boom, there it is.
Whoomp, there it is, I think. Oh my God, how do we pronounce that name? Fire away.
Kayla Chason.
French, is he? Excellent. Edge rusher out of LSU. Going to get some defensive pressure off the Cardinals this year, we think.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, if they would have stayed at 8, they would have either gone for defensive tackle anyway, or defensive on edge rusher anyway, or lineman. But they re-signed DJ Humphries. They didn't need a wide receiver there. They made the incredible trade for DeAndre Hopkins. So let's kind of power up that defense a little bit. Jason is he's more kind of a speed to power kind of around the edge. He's what they describe as a very twitched up athlete in the sense that he can move very, very quickly. So he gives that defense a bit more legitimacy alongside Chandler Jones.
Well, excellent. Jim, you're also on the clock with the 19th pick, aren't you?
Yeah. Who did
done all that talking?
Yeah. No, I'm going to have to go back now. Who did the Cowboys take, by the way? I missed that.
Kenneth Murray.
Kenneth Murray, thank you.
It sounds like someone we probably went to school with, but, you know.
It does, yeah. But it also makes my next pick quite easy.
Well, that's good. Just remember this is a podcast as well. So
I think the Arizona pick's smart because in terms of wideout, we forget there was a couple of people they took early last year. So Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've also got Hakeem Butler, who I took far too early last year in the first round.
You did. And he wasn't even one of the two you really reached for.
Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I S Club 7 reached on Hakeem Butler.
You think about the Cardinals wide receiver core now. They've got Hopkins, they've got Fitzgerald, they've got Christian Kirk, and they've got Kenyon Drake out of the backfield. So that's a pretty decent set of weapons for Kenneth Murray now. Not Kenneth Murray. Tyler Murray.
If only Kenneth Murray was that good, he could play quarterback as well. Well, the pick is in. Linebacker Patrick McQueen out of LSU.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I know, we're going to need to stop after 20. We've got like no players left.
Yeah, well, we'll have a little break and ruin the magic for everyone. Yeah, I like this again. Good.
Yeah, the Raiders.
I do think there's a drop off though between the first two and McQueen. I'm not sure
Isn't it Patrick Queen, not Muck?
Yeah, Patrick Queen. Not
Sorry,
Queen.
McQueen. Yeah, that's me being an idiot. Yes, I think for me this is the first one where I can say this is a really early pick for me.
I don't think it is. I mean, there's definitely a drop off between Simmons and Murray. There's no doubt about that. But I think Murray and Queen are not too far apart. I mean, the biggest difference is I think Patrick Queen probably doesn't have the size that Murray has, but what he makes up for is generally his speed and his diagnosis of plays, and he gets to the play quickly and shuts it down. So the Raiders have got a defense which needs improving. I think Patrick Queen improved that defense immensely.
Oh, excellent. John, you are on the clock with the 20th overall pick at the Jags. They're second in the first round. How are you continuing to make this franchise better, and is it Jordan Love? I can't believe you're going to let Gardner Minshew be the quarterback of this team, given the option. I was kind of expecting the pick to come in straight away, like he'd been sitting there with it chosen, but it hasn't. He's actually taking it sensibly, everybody.
Oh.
You know, there's that scene on The Simpsons where you see Homer sat at his desk at the nuclear power plant, and he's about to do something stupid.
I mean, if the Texans were in the first round, that's what we'd be looking at for them as well.
Right, the pick is in, and with the 20th pick in the 2020 NFL draft, the Jaguars select not a quarterback. It's McKinney, the safety.
Xavier McKinney,
safety.
Take all my damn players.
I am
basically
stunned that you've gone down this road, and that tells me that you're comfortable with Gardner Minshew.
I am comfortable with the Jags sucking.
Yeah.
I am okay with them being toilet. So instead, my plan was I don't think Patrick Queen would get picked until
into the 20s. Yeah.
So I've then just picked the best defensive back I could find, which was Xavier McKinney.
Yes, first safety off the board in this draft as well. But a couple of cornerbacks go, but I like McKinney. I think he's a good player. I'm not sure this is something the Jags would do. Jim and I were saying earlier that really they need to make an impact. If they could trade up to get Tua and really make an impact, that would benefit the franchise so much. But I'm not sure they're going to get that option.
I don't think they will.
John, thank you for once again editing in very skillfully our draft board up to this point. Everyone can have a look if they're watching on YouTube. If not, on the podcast, I hope you're keeping track. Jim no longer has any participation because he's managed to trade all his picks outside the 20s and move up. So he'll be staying very quiet apart from some analysis and desperately trying to move back in for a final pick. I reckon he's going to be trying to sneak in at the end. The 21st pick is in, and the Eagles have selected via Paul, wide receiver Jalen Reagor. Sounds like he's straight out of Game of Thrones. I don't know a lot about him because he's not been one of the headline-grabbing wide receivers. Why do we think he's a first-round talent?
I felt he was just solid athletically, relatively quick. He could be a deep threat as well. He just seemed to have all the right intangibles. And
why has he not been making the same noise as Henry Ruggs, Judge Judy, CD Lamb? Why have we not heard so much about him?
Because this is a very heavy wide-out class.
Okay.
There's multiple people I could have gone here, but out of the ones that are available, I thought I'll go for Jalen Reagor.
It could be about
I don't
6.
really like the Eagles, so didn't try that hard.
He does.
There could easily be 5 or 6 wide receivers go in this first round.
Yeah, that's true.
He fits the bill for what the Eagles need in that he has got speed, so he can stretch the field. And they've got 2 tight ends who can play the underneath routes. I reckon it's actually a decent pick.
I wondered whether the lack of noise is because he played for TCU rather.
Yeah, there is a bit of that as well. I mean, I don't think it's a terrible pick, but I think you could probably get him in the second. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's what the Eagles need.
The Vikings are on the clock for the 22nd pick, by the way. So
I am going 44th in the mock draft I have on my device next to me.
So, John, over to you.
1 second.
1 second, eh? What are you doing? You dropped something there? That's what it looks like. So far, I would say there's only been a couple of players that I'm surprised have gone quite so high. Rhaegar is one of them, and the other one was Patrick Queen. I don't see either of them being this early in the first round, but there's been no massive reaches this year. How many picks has Paul got left?
About 4?
3.
Oh, there's still a chance. Right, with the 22nd pick, the Vikings choose, and this name that I can't pronounce again, Yuta Gross-Matis, the edge rusher. Is that a good enough attempt at the name?
Yuta Gross-Matis.
No, it wasn't a very good version of the name. Is he French?
Well, no, I think he's American.
Yeah.
Well,
it feels a need for them. They've got a few needs, and the other ones I want, I think, are still going to be there in a couple of picks. So I've gone with the edge rusher to help boost that defensive line.
Yeah,
which has not been great.
No, you play him along opposite Daniel Hunter, and that's again pretty decent defensive line. And Mike Zimmer's defensive-minded coach. He's probably going to favour that defensive pick.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how much better than last year the Vikings can be. I'm not sure there's much left, and I think maybe Mike Zimmer is part of the problem. They're a bit limited by his defensive-mindedness.
Yeah, but I think they're having a bit of a mini rebuild. I think they need to rebuild like their backfield quite extensively. There's no one at this kind of range in the draft who I'll be taking cornerback or safety wise. So it makes sense if you haven't got the players in that department to sturdy yourself up front.
It's true. Gary, the 23rd pick is on the clock for the Lions. And I've had a thumbs up, very useful on a podcast, let's remember.
Hold up, there's 9 people that watched us on YouTube.
Okay. Blimey. Those people really must be isolated.
They're here, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And the other one's my wife.
Yeah, we shared a lovely time watching us. Just saying.
Because I made her.
Yeah, the Lions have selected cornerback Jeff Gladney. Right.
I added an E accidentally. Sorry, Griff.
Yeah, that's thrown me. But yes, so cornerback, which is something the Lions desperately needed, and have managed to basically trade all the way down, pick up draft capital, and still fill a really important need for them. That's some top GM work there.
Yeah, I think there's enough teams with other needs above them that they will have the ability to do that. I think the Lions have been quite open that they want to trade out of that third with the right value. I think they're going to be happy to do that. So I don't think it'll be Patriots. I think it'll be the Chargers that they end up trading with. But I would definitely expect to see the Lions move. And I think if they can move and get a top 5 cornerback and build some draft capital, I think they'll be very, very happy. I think he's a good player. He'll probably go around that kind of number in the draft, I would guess. Jim, what are your thoughts?
A bit small, but he makes up for it in kind of his cover speed.
Yeah.
For his size though, he's actually pretty physical. So
4.48 40 yard.
Yeah, in the NFC, that'd be important.
Gary, you're on the clock with the 24th pick as well for the Saints. I love the confused look on your face. Awesome.
I did that. I hadn't decided yet. I was talking about the last one.
Yeah, I know. That's just why I was just reminding you. I was trying to find last year in the podcast the section where we were talking about offensive linemen with arms that were too short, and the fact that John had managed to pick them.
Well, you missed earlier. John was talking about doing a push-up competition, but he's got to do twice as many because he's only got little arms.
Can you get your breasts off the floor, John? Or
You actually think about it, it's genius from John because it's less of a push-up based on arm size. If anything, it's quite smart.
It's not though, because that sort of resting on your arms in that position with that weight is going to make your arms go smaller, not longer. You want to do pull-ups to give yourself some increased length.
John's always after increased length.
Things have taken a very immature turn for the worse here.
Got no more picks to make.
John's also keeping very quiet. He's doing very well. If we come back on to record next week and you put a chin-up bar in the background, that would be amazing. It's just set 2.5 feet off the floor.
So yeah, if it's in the background, it is only like 3 feet off the floor.
Right, the Saints pick is in. What position is this, Gary?
24.
No.
Nice.
The Saints have chosen AJ Epinesa.
Yeah, that'll do.
Edge rusher.
Edge rusher. Thank you. Trying to work my way through all the bits of technology. Yeah, again, the Saints don't have a lot of needs. I wouldn't be surprised if they take the successor for Drew Brees, if they don't believe they've already got him on the roster. It's somewhere in this draft. But yeah, they don't have a lot of holes to fill right now.
So I think they do. I think they want a new wide receiver, but I don't think there's anyone good enough there right now at that position. So I think they're hoping that one of those previous 4 wide receivers falls slightly deeper. But I think if not, then you try and take someone to build that defense. But I think they will be after a wide receiver. The Saints. That's what they really want. I would say. They'll have to pay Michael Thomas soon. You've got Ted Ginn, or whoever they've got these days.
They've got Emmanuel Sanders as well now, so...
Yeah, but he's only going to be there for a year or so. What is it, 34?
Yeah, but with Drew Brees, the age he is, they're the team that are in that win now mode. Yeah. But I think this is a great pick because, you can't have too many good edge rushers. You saw what 49ers did last year with their ability to rush the passer, and you can build a team off the back of that. And you match a really good pass rush and overall defense because they've still got some great players in the backfield with the offense that the Saints have got. Then they're going to go into next year as one of the favourites anyway. This just helps.
Right, next up, John picking 25th overall for the Vikings, their second pick in the first round. Denzel Mims, wide receiver. Is this the replacement for Stephon Diggs?
Yeah. Basically, with Kirk Cousins, I went for a big guy.
Massive catch radius.
Massive catch radius. But yeah, he's quick, he's big, nice. I don't know if he's a knob or not.
He's got a nice knob, did you just say?
I don't know if he is a knob. But yeah,
do they do that at the combine now? Is that one of the measurables?
But yeah,
isn't that the Wonderlic test? Because it's not far off most of the time, is it?
Yeah. Gary, by the way, you are back on the clock. 26th overall.
I know.
To the Dolphins. I know you can see you frantically working away.
Well, I had 3 picks in 4. Quite hard work after 20, isn't it, Jim?
It is, yeah. Denzel Mims had an amazing combine though. So what is he? 6'3". He did the 40-yard dash.
6'3", 4. Yeah, 4.3.
Yeah, 40-yard dash in 4.38 seconds. Not only is he big, but he can get down the field bloody quickly.
Yeah, I think he could be a good replacement for Diggs, who's gone for first round but was never the most consistent.
The 26th overall pick, Gary has picked defensive tackle Ross Blacklock. Which is, again, something that the Dolphins really do need. I'm not sure they won't keep building the O-line in reality. However, I suspect you're going to say that all the best O-linemen have gone and there's nothing worth the pick. So,
yeah, I think, their defense was also pretty poor. It improved slightly through the season, obviously, as they improved their record, but it was pretty poor. Blacklock had a few injuries at one point through his college career, but, I think against the run, the Dolphins were particularly bad, weren't they? As well as the secondary was awful as well.
The whole team's crap.
They're just awful.
Yeah, they were very well coached for a team that didn't have many pieces.
You can't just put all of your resource into offense. You've seen the cost to go out and get great defensive talent. You watch the trades that happen across the league. You've got to try and, if you've already built the O-line, you've taken the quarterback, I think to take a defensive lineman is quite prudent if you've got 3 picks in the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, you're on the clock with the Seahawks with the 27th overall pick. Where do we think the Seahawks actually need to go in this draft? Because I think
in the sea.
They're not going to re-sign Clowney long term.
Doesn't look
because they've fallen out over the money. Do they need to replace his production first overall?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think either edge rusher or interior of the defensive line would be where I'd be going.
And I haven't.
Just so you know, Paul's giving you the big fuck off.
Yeah.
With the 27th overall pick, he takes the first running back off the board. It's Jonathan Taylor.
The reason why I've gone for a running back is that Rashad Penny's coming back off an ACL. Carson's in the final year of his contract. I thought it was the smart thing to do. Penny's not going to come back the same, and them having a solid running game means they do well. If they don't have a solid running game, that's the team that doesn't perform.
That's very true. Paul, just giving you the heads up here, the 29th and 30th picks for you and 31st picks for you are all back to back. So you want to get some research done. John, you are on the clock with the 28th overall pick for the Ravens.
I would say, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's a good running back, but he's had a heavy old workload in college. I mean, we've seen other running backs who have had heavy workloads kind of not have the longevity that other running backs have. But I kind of see where Paul's going with this. The Seahawks they rely on that running game. They ran out of running backs. They had to bring Marshawn Lynch back. So why not stock up on one of the best running backs in the draft this year? Especially if the talent isn't there on the defensive line.
Right. The 28th pick is in. The Ravens select linebacker Zach Baun. I believe we pronounced it Baun. B-A-U-N.
Yep.
No,
like Braun, but without the R. Remember them?
Yeah.
Hair straighteners and crap.
Baun.
That's them. So Zach Baun. I think this is a great pick, bearing in mind that the Ravens always need to build that defense to stop everybody and keep Lamar within running range of the red zone. Pretty much.
Basically what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't replace CJ Mosley last year. This is what that does, really. He's that kind of middle linebacker who is going to kind of own that defense and be that captain of the defense kind of moving forward.
Do we think the Ravens are going to be the team best placed to stop the Chiefs going straight back to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Because it's not going to be the Patriots this year.
No, I think the Ravens.
We say that every bloody year.
Can I just say no one? The Ravens, I'm still not sure. Like, I think last year they caught everyone off guard still. But there's a lot of tape now, and I don't know if the Ravens will be the team to do that. I don't know if this might be a year where Chiefs don't. Maybe the Steelers or something, coming back. But yeah, I don't think the Ravens.
What about the Saints? They're always good on paper. They're there or thereabouts.
I thought you meant just AFC.
I did mean just the AFC, but that's fine. The Saints
meant overall.
As well. Yeah. Paul, maybe you should concentrate on your 3 consecutive picks that you've got been dumped with.
In front of me now.
The 29th overall pick for the Falcons. You're on the clock there. And then you've got 30th with the Packers and 31st for the Niners. So, in your own time. Is that sweat I see forming on your brow there?
No, I'm just really excited.
Jim,
I'm not wearing anything on my bottom half.
What's it like, Jim, sitting back and watching people tear themselves apart?
Well, I had a little bit of that during that middle section, but now it's quite relaxing. I'll pour myself another drink.
The 29th overall pick is in. Christian Fulton. I like this. This fills a need for the Falcons. That's top GM in. We'll give you a pass there, Paul. Well done. I don't think the drop off at cornerback is massive this year. So that the Falcons have done all right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is bigger than what you're making out. I think
between Henderson and Fulton.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good gap between Okuda and Henderson. I think there's a good gap now between Henderson and whoever the next cornerback is. I do like Christian Fulton, though. I think he's going to be a solid starter in the league. And he's come from LSU. I've got a lot of players in this first round so far.
But they had a really good year, didn't they? A really good year and a half. I thought Jeff Okuda is easily the best cornerback, and then the next 4 or 5 are not separated by very much at all.
No, I think Henderson separated himself out from that pack. But then I agree with you. After that, I think you could go anyone between Fulton, Diggs, Gladney, and Terrell, and it wouldn't be that big a difference.
Oh, the 30th pick is in already, so Paul's on the ball here. It's wide receiver Justin Jefferson for the Packers, and they do need some weapons to give Aaron Rodgers one last push before he inevitably declines, falls over, and gets remembered as a 1 Super Bowl winning bust.
Another LSU player as well.
It is another LSU player as well. Let's see if Paul can tick 3 boxes in 3 with his final pick. But yeah, I think this is a good shout. The Packers have got. Who have they got at tight end this year?
Jay Sternberger.
Yeah, he didn't play much last year.
So tight end is where I was going to go originally.
Who's playing random things on the recording?
Yeah, his video's acting up. To your point, Paul, tight end would have been a good pick, but there is no first-round tight ends this year at all.
I think Sternberger's going to be a decent player. Did he not get injured last year? Sure.
Yeah, I think they like him. He had a few plays toward the end of the season, so I think that convinced them to.
Got to be an upgrade on Jimmy Graham, who's signed a star deal with the Bears.
I like Jefferson as well. I mean, I completely agree with the move to go with wide receiver for the Packers. They need to find some more quality there, and I think Jefferson is the next best wide receiver there. I think actually, if you look at some of the throws Burrow's made last year, Jefferson kind of helped him out quite a lot. So yeah, great pick.
I think it's also somebody. I didn't know whether to go defense because Blake Martinez going to the Giants is such an underrated little signing for the Giants because it's phenomenal last year.
Yeah, there's just no linebacker there that you can take now.
And Kyler Fackrell going to the Giants as well. He was a sack machine last year. Sorry, the year before, not last year.
31st overall pick is in, and the 49ers select defensive tackle Jordan Elliott. And then Paul's put brackets, I really hope he's a defensive tackle.
He is.
He is indeed. He's definitely not a first-round talent. But if you feel this is what the Niners need, you're not so high up the draft now that this is a bigger reach as it would otherwise have been.
They needed a replacement for DeForest Buckner.
They do. It's basically a cheap replacement, which is exactly what they need.
It's a cheap replacement. You've got an amazing defensive line, and he's okay. He's not going to make it. All right, he's not going to be as good as Buckner, but he's not going to make it massively worse by going in.
Yeah, that's true. You wouldn't want to take this with the first pick they've got in the first round. That would be far too expensive. Gary, you are on the clock with the final pick. It's the Panthers, I believe, following the trade earlier from 7th overall. But yeah, I don't hate the pick, Paul. I think it's late enough in the first round that it becomes less of an issue. So that's a good thing.
I think where he does kind of is likened a little bit to DeForest Buckner is generally his size as well. You look at Buckner. Buckner was a big tackle.
We've got some controversy late on. According to the announcement I've just had, the Panthers have cut Robbie Anderson because he's shit, and they've drafted wide receiver Brandon Ayuk to replace him. I'm not sure that cutting Robbie Anderson is what they're going to do, really, having paid him a load of money. But they do need more weapons.
It's not about what they will do; it's about what I would do. And I wouldn't even walk into the same fucking building as Robbie Anderson and those dreadlocks.
Well, has he got coronavirus?
No. But I think Ayuk's good. He's a good wide receiver. The wide receiver core has been terrible in Carolina for a long time.
Since they lost Funchess.
Funchess, DJ Moore, it's been pretty poor, isn't it? And
can we stop saying that Funchess is good?
You are?
Funchess isn't good, but he did some good things for the Panthers.
Samuel's
been poor for a long time. It's been really poor.
I think they're more than decent
player as well. I think the Panthers can improve on special teams, so I wouldn't be surprised if they take a wide receiver but they probably won't draft. They probably won't drop down like I did in the draft. To be fair, but I think they'll probably take a defensive player to strengthen the defence at 7. But I didn't do that.
Wide receivers we had go in this first round.
6.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
6.
7. No, 7.
7 was it?
Yeah, increasing all the time. 7 wide receivers.
Oh,
yes, 7.
Yes.
Sorry,
I missed Rhaegar the Targaryen that went to the Eagles. Yeah, I mean,
I'd say the defensive class isn't quite as strong as some years. Reasonably strong O-line class, good quarterback class. You could easily have seen another quarterback go. I think.
Yeah, we didn't have a quarterback outside the top 5, did we?
No,
just had those main three. But a lot of the teams that may well actually take those quarterbacks in our mock draft have traded down to get exactly who they want.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be that. That's why I've been so surprised that a lot of the mocks have got 4 or 5 quarterbacks going in the first round, because I don't think you need to spend that capital to get them. Like Paul was saying earlier, Jalen Hurts isn't the next Lamar, but he's certainly a runner as opposed to a thrower first. And you
don't become the quarterback at Alabama and Oklahoma if you're a bad player.
The Saints may very well take him.
He is going to be like Taysom Hill.
Jim's just been told it's now off the table.
I was about to say Jordan Love's still there, and I think he will go in the 4th round. First round, sorry, for fuck's sake. Jalen Hurts should go in the 4th round because he makes bad decisions. He's just another Jameis Winston. He's going to try and force the ball into holes that just aren't there.
Are you thinking again about what's just happened in your life? I don't know. Jalen Hurts has won so much in 2 different places that he can't be that bad.
I think that's down to coaching more than anything.
I don't know. I think he'll go higher than the 4th round.
I think he will as well. I'm taking the piss, but he's definitely not. He's not getting into the 1st round.
No, he's not getting into the 1st round. I don't understand the stuff about Jordan Love, and this is where you play this back to me in a year's time when he's thrown like 24 touchdowns and 6 picks. I don't see it. He just looks like somebody who wants to, a bit like you just said with Jameis, just throw the ball out there and see where it lands.
I think he needs coaching. He had a terrible 2019, but his 2018 tape is really, really good.
He threw like 6 picks all season, didn't he? 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
But last year it was 20 touchdowns to 17 picks.
Yeah, like I said, and I think if you look at his 2018 tape and then you go from that to 2019, I think he's obviously got the talent there. It then comes down to coaching. I think we chatted about it in one of the breaks. If the Saints took him and played him behind, or had him behind Drew Brees for a year, and then with coach from Sean Payton, I think he could be an absolute stud at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't seen it. I can't place where I think he should be. I think if anybody starts Jordan Love in this coming season, their season is over.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start. I think he is, like I said, he is going to go to a team that can afford for him to wait for a year.
But I mean, you couldn't have him as a backup with a risky starter either, because if you had to play him, for instance, I wasn't sure that Daniel Jones should play last year, and he came in and was as good as any rookie could be. He actually played really well, except the fumbles, but you let that go. I don't think that Jordan Love is that good.
I think there would be a lot of veteran quarterbacks that would be extremely happy with our draft.
Yeah, I think
there'd be some spare money out there to pay them to be back.
Anybody got a shock from that first round that they think maybe a player was missed or overdrafted? I'll tell you mine. I just can't believe John didn't take a quarterback for the Jags. I'm absolutely stunned after the amount of protests we get over the fantastic Gardner Minshew that John didn't choose to rectify that problem.
I can't believe you didn't think I did something stupid.
I don't think you did anything. There was a couple of John Farrow-esque reaches, as in not that far, but otherwise.
I thought Chasson went a bit late at 18. I thought he would have gone slightly earlier.
I think there's probably two players who I think will go in the first round, which we didn't pick. One's Josh Jones, the defensive lineman out of Houston. I think he'll be picked up later on. I think the Dolphins could pick him up with one of their later picks if they don't trade up. And the other one is Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback out of Alabama, who's also Stephen Diggs' brother. I think he'll go in the first round.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And does anybody have a favourite named player in this year's draft besides Tom Flacco? We all like Tom Flacco.
Lloyd Cushenberry. Aye.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I'm going for Willie Gay, obviously.
I'm going for Prince Tega Wanuga.
Excellent. Was he in Black Panther?
He is an offensive lineman out of Auburn.
Also, the offensive lineman from, I think, that Key and Peele sketch is Calvin Throckmorton.
I was just looking at him, Throckmorton. It's an amazing name.
Yeah.
Would you
like to know who, according to our spreadsheet, was the best pick, like most undervalued and most overvalued?
Yes, we would love to know that, John.
So, the best pick was Christian Fulton, who was picked
by me.
By Paul for the Falcons.
7 places later than expected.
Now you're only an aggregate of 400 places behind after your last 2 attempts at this game.
And the biggest reach was Jordan Elliott.
By me.
By Paul. There you go, redressing the balance.
He's not expected to go until the mid to end of the second round.
I think Jonathan Taylor is a bit of a reach as well.
That's better than 4 rounds, like I did the last 2 years.
I think comparatively, you've done very well. It's only took you 3 years. Well done.
It's only taking me being off work and actually sitting looking at Pro Football Focus's draft guide for most of the day.
Yeah, but didn't that get you in trouble with Will Greer last year? That's how you got to him, wasn't it? You just went to he's third best quarterback according to that.
It was the most accurate quarterback.
So, this year I actually read the analysis rather than just when they said he's number 3.
Yeah, you actually read the bit where it said he's number 3, but he shouldn't be picked till the 5th round.
Yeah, because he wasn't number 1 or number 2. He wasn't what we in England would call number 2. He was that bad. He's number 3.
He'll still be the backup to Teddy this year, won't he? Will Greer.
But he's the only one in Carolina who's lasted.
Well, yeah.
He's gone. Allen's gone.
Yeah. Will Teddy last the season?
I don't know. I hope Teddy does last the season. If he does, I think the Panthers are a good team again. But I have my suspicions that he can't play 16 games.
Well, obviously, the trade that Jim offered me, I don't think that the Chiefs are going to offer that trade in a million years. But
I don't know.
I just don't see it happening. I think the Panthers' defense needs quite a few pieces, really. So, they lost Keechley, haven't they, this year, which is massive to any team.
I think James Bradbury as well was a massive loss for them.
Yeah, but I think if Jeff Okuda's there on the board and the Chiefs have the opportunity to move up and take Jeff Okuda, and because I don't think they are going to sign Chris Jones, I think they will trade him eventually. So
they've tagged him, haven't they, for now?
Yeah, they tagged him, but I reckon that's a tag and trade situation. So if they get a chance to take Jeff Okuda, I think they would jump at that.
Didn't the Panthers lose Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe as well in free agency?
Yeah.
Their entire defense.
So basically there's a massive hole in their defense now because those two fellas are enormous.
So I've drafted a wide receiver to replace Robbie Anderson.
I just loved your justification. I've released him. He's gone. I think that's the kind of detail I like when it comes through. Well done, everybody. That does conclude the 2020 Snap UK NFL Draft. We'll be back next week to look over what's happened. And when is the draft? A week Thursday?
Yeah,
Thursday.
So we can go over ours briefly next week and maybe have an appraisal, and then the following week we can actually compare it to the real draft and see how we did.
Anything like it.
And the real draft will be broadcast very much like this, by the sounds of things, with
via
Goodell
Microsoft
in the
Teams.
basement. Sorry?
Yeah.
Via Microsoft Teams.
Is it really? Well,
so it will be exactly like this.
Do you think any of them have someone in their employee who is like me and just doesn't know how to work any of this shit at all?
Pretty much 50% of the GMs.
Just be sitting there with a pen and paper like I do.
I think the mascots should
do it. As a GM, come on.
The GM shouldn't do it. It should be the mascots who are there doing the picks.
That would be amazing.
Or the cheerleaders.
Apparently, Roger Goodell is going to be reading out the names from his home. So,
but still being booed by his kids.
And you'll still hear the booing. Yeah.
Somebody on the Jets will figure a way to hack into it and boo him. Surely they will have to. It must be nice for him to do it in silence and be like, oh,
yeah. He's loving it.
Thank you for not booing me, Paul. You did.
Because you didn't introduce yourself. That's why.
I'm not stupid. I don't want booing. That's basically why.
Should we also mention some news?
Yeah, go for gold.
The XFL officially bankrupt. So it's gone.
It's totally gone, isn't it? Not coming back.
It's a shame because it's not.
Coronavirus killed it. It wasn't terrible, but the product wasn't great.
No.
It's the same as every minor league, but yeah.
I think coronavirus has been quite a nice out.
Yeah. I actually thought the AAF that we had last year was actually a better product than the XFL in terms of the players playing. A lot of the XFL players were really, really poor.
The XFL was just for these like redneck hicks like John and Paul who just get crazy over wrestling.
Duncan.
I've just increased our listenership in the Deep South.
Yeah. It's essential business.
Any other news anybody would like to get to?
Various
Tavares Jackson.
Let's see, yeah.
The former Vikings and Seahawks quarterback. Yeah, sadly passed away after a car accident.
36 years old.
Yeah, which is no age at all. He was. He started at the Vikings for 2 years, I think. He played a fair amount of games for them. Was never an elite quarterback, but stuck around on the Seahawks roster for years as a backup.
He was, he was the tailor-made backup for Russell Wilson in terms of he was that scrambling quarterback. It's obviously very sad. Stay safe, stay home.
Yep.
Been working for the NHS long, have
you? Side gig.
The one thing I wanted to get in our podcast, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased. I'm incredibly biased. I'm going to say the Giants have done really well in free agency, unlike the Giants.
Come on, expand.
Well, Blake Martinez, Kyler Fackrell, James Bradbury are players that would make most other teams.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 players that would make other teams out of a 57-man roster.
But you've got some decent pieces going there. Darius Slayton had a good debut season.
Don't forget
a 4th-round draft pick.
Colt McCoy as well.
Yep.
And Dion Lewis.
Right. They're not all of it's been great, but there's been. I don't think they've got enough recognition for some of the things they have done.
I think Dion Lewis as a backup to Saquon is really good.
I can't wait to remind you of this in week 8.
He'll be better than Wayne Gallman.
Yeah.
Paul Perkins, Orleans Darkwa.
I remember people picking Wayne Gallman up in fantasy.
Case of the Orleans Darkwa.
They had some holes in defence. They're filling them, but they're not overpaying, which is quite unlike the Giants.
Quite unlike what's his face? Gettleman.
Yeah, I think the Giants could be a much improved team this coming season. I was really impressed with Daniel Jones as a rookie. I thought he was a better player than I had expected him to be. And a year's worth of experience is only going to make him better. I don't think he's ever going to be an elite quarterback, but if he can reach a couple of peaks in his career similar to Eli, then the Giants have got a quarterback for 10 years.
He was a better player than he expected to be, but his expectations are so low that it would be difficult not to be.
The thing that I'll always say,
Peyton Manning threw 24 interceptions in his first season or whatever it was. Like, he doesn't look like he's going to throw the ball to the other team. He has fumble issues, which is something that can be resolved. But the rest of the time, he took care of the ball, allowed Saquon to do his job. And if you build a team around that, it can project towards an Alex Smith career, which, whether you like it or not, has been successful.
Yeah,
I think I'd take a Trent Dilfer career.
You love taking a Trent Dilfer. That's not okay.
A stop clock can be right twice in Super Bowl history. Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. There's no reason. I'm not going to finish that sentence. It's ridiculous.
You're just lumping Eli Manning in with Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson.
No.
I'm lumping in Daniel Jones. Eli Manning is a surefire Hall of Famer, as we said last time.
Anyway, I think that concludes the podcast/YouTube recording for the evening. I'll let John do his magic with the editing so everyone gets the visuals if they're going to watch. And we'll be back next week to have a bit of a self-appraisal. Good night.